Ironically, this bunker doesn't protect you from the muscling all in. To get better, you really need to focus on that. But Zerg is not doing anything with this gas. So this is exactly what I'm saying. Your opponents will play very inefficient, and it's hard to believe in their actions. Being good at this level is to produce STVs. This is exactly something that is easy to fix and will make your game a lot better. There is very important idea with the turret positioning in DVZ. Yeah, again, this is something that is important on your level. Don't build buildings like that. Hey guys, today we are gonna look at the replay of Micteran. He submitted this replay for review. This is supposed to be a game versus Crazy Zerg. So we are gonna look at how to handle such playstyle from Zerg. And I wanted to mention one thing, because I looked up Micteran's MMR on Seawall, and he's between like 13 and 1400, so he's like E rank. And the big regret I have about this game is that I don't have a FP VOD, because what I want to say is that on this level, if you are like on F, E, D, C level, it's probably not the strategy that is causing you to lose games. And this is something that you should understand as fast as possible and start working on those mechanics, on generally clicking better, being more effective in your actions during the game, in controlling your units, things like that. And I'm saying that because the reason that you cannot get better is not necessarily because you don't know what to do, it's rather you don't know how to do stuff correctly. Because I'm pretty sure if you tell me any strategy, any stupid strategy to play against players on this level, I would probably win anyway, even if it doesn't make sense, just because I will be able to make my actions efficient, I will have correct setup, in base, I mean regarding building placement, I will probably be just able to abuse my opponent in some way. So this is something that I wanted to say at the beginning, to not emphasize that much on actual strategy, because it won't matter that much at your level. Of course, it's still required for you to have an idea what you are actually doing, what you are trying to do, what you're trying to achieve in a game strategy-wise. But in general, for example, your opening doesn't matter that much, or your opponent's strategy doesn't matter that much. All those things are kind of less important the lower your level is. But regardless, we'll talk about it anyway, what is correct way of playing this out. So we didn't go wall, which is fine. Going bunker is pretty old school way of doing that nowadays, but it's fine. This is exactly what I would consider fine on this level, because it won't lose you the game. This is something that if you do that, it won't cause you to instantly lose the game, so we can just do that and be fine. One thing about this, I wouldn't place this bunker here, because ironically, this bunker doesn't protect you from the muscling all in. Because this is too far away from the STVs to actually react on time and protect this bunker. So if the Zerg decides to go for 20 links, you will die anyway, even with this bunker right here. This bunker should be positioned here, for example. And then you shrink the entrance again with another depot or something like that. Bunker like that is helping a little bit, but it won't stop Zerg from being very aggressive. He will kill you anyway with links. So I would say it again, on your level, the most important thing is making STVs. I know that's boring and cheap advice, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to see throughout the game that our worker production is lacking. And this is usually because, especially versus Crazy Zerg, the thing is that this is classic macro check in RTSs. Because Crazy Zerg is nothing but taking quickly to very high tech unit with upgrades and just making them and throwing them on A move pretty much. And to counter that, as the opposing player, there is no cute way you can actually win. There is no knowledge check in it. It's just about making upgrades on time and producing a lot of units, pretty much. So we need this macro to be as solid as possible, and for example, skipping SCVs is exactly what is stopping us from winning. This is a thing that is stopping us from winning in like pretty much every game, but especially versus strategy like that, which is not cute. It's just pretty much barbarian way of forcing yourself to win a game, and it's very easy to execute as well. So look, I'm specifically watching this command center, and we are not seeing SCVs coming out of it. So you see my point, how there is not much strategy involved into the cause of losing the game in the end, if we are not following those basic things. To get better, you really need to focus on that. And I know that people say that a lot. On CPL, for example, like coaches will tell you all the time that you should make those STVs. And it's very cheap advice, very obvious one, but I want to really pay attention to that command center right now. Like, look, we made one STV in the last minute, now we cancel it because, okay, I see the idea that we are going turrets right now, so we are canceling STVs to get those done, and that's in theory good. The problem is that we already skipped so many that it's hurting us. So we are going defensive right now. Zerg's mutas are also pretty late. Actually, let me see, because we are at 6:30. Let me see something, because I was talking so much I didn't actually focus on what Zergs did. So being here, we should obviously watch the lair timing. Okay, so like, look, this is a mistake. I mean, mistake, maybe not really, because if you assume that Zerg is playing correctly, this is actually okay. So you go, I hope you will go back to the main immediately when you see there is no lair. Okay, yeah, we're doing that. And still no lair. So that's very weird, alright? At this point, so look, but Zerg is not doing anything with this gas. So this is exactly what I'm saying. Look how it looks like from my perspective when I'm analyzing this game. If I were on a level of like B rank, or even C rank I think already, this Zerg would probably go speed or lair already for this gas, because he has almost 200 gas. So at 325, like at my level of play, for example, I know already that, I would suspect that Zerg is going speedlings already, because there is no way he cannot get lair yet, right? And the lair is like, lair going up at 325 or 330 is already indicating that he should have his speedlings around 4 minutes. Because in 20 seconds you mine 100 gas. Like, this will be very specific, but I'm just trying to say you my point of view. So 100 gas is mining 20 seconds. You normally start lair at 303 or 3 minutes, depending on the build, but it's generally the latest lair should be around like 3 minutes, 3 seconds. And then if he is not going up with this lair up to this point, and I see the lair going up like 330 or something, then I'm assuming he's going speedlings, and I'm being extremely defensive then. But I'm happy, because it's actually not a good way of playing, but still, like, we should expect links hitting us right now. That's the point. Of course, we can check always with STV whether the links are coming, but the point is that if he started his speed at 300 or 303, the speed is done 1 minute later, and we would get hit with mass link right now, with like 12 links, for example, and we are dead. So, but the Zerg didn't do that. He's even going Barrow. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, yeah, so as you can see, the point is that your opponents will play very inefficiently, and it's hard to believe in their actions. So you cannot just assume things depending on your scouting, because they might be just wrong. And the whole idea is that you should just be solid and play well, do your stuff on time, and then you will win anyway, because they will do nonsense things like that. But I like that we have our things on time, that's good. Like the turrets. Those are even a little bit preemptive, but it's always better to make them too early rather than too late. This is again something that won't lose you the game. This is like turret timing is optimization that is relevant on, like, I don't know, A level, maybe S level, something like that. But if you get them too early, it's not a big deal. Literally the whole point of being good at this level is to produce SCVs. There is another pause. I will focus a lot on it in this game. Now we can think back. This factory, by the way, this is exactly something that is easy to fix and will make your game a lot better. So look, there is very important idea with the turret positioning in DBZ. You have this triangle. Look, we start from here, we go up to our axis, and then we go to our main. This is our triangle. And we always want to make tech buildings in this area, inside of our triangle. And you can do this on every map. Like on every map, you will pretty much have the same setup where you have your NAT, and you will create this triangle with turrets next to the barracks and with the main. The reason is that mutas will rarely come into this area, and if they do, we have those marines and we can do a lot of damage, and then to escape they again have to fly by the turrets or through the turrets. So positioning this factory here is very annoying for ourselves, because now mutas can come here and just micro our marines without help of the turrets, which is very bad, and then just keep picking out this SCV making factory. And that's very, very important to not let that happen, because every pickup like that is delaying our tech. So this should be here. And then this eBay is actually like, yeah, again, this is something that is important on your level. Don't build buildings like that. Those buildings should be here, like by the edge. We have space here. So start making buildings by the very edge of the map, then you have more space to add more. Then this eBay probably should be at this place of the factory. Then it's finished. Non-SCV is gonna make it when mutas come, so it doesn't have to be protected as much. And then your factory and ports go here, and mutas can never harass them. Or if they do, it's very hard for their Zerg to actually do that without taking much damage. So that's maybe even the most important tip of them all from this replay, so you should remember that. Yeah, but the mutas never came. Right? That's strange as well. Like, nobody on higher level would have 2 hatch mutas appearing at almost 8 minutes. That would never happen. That's again why it's so hard to actually say something like very meaningful for the actual strategy in this game. The move out is good, fighting with the mutas. We should already like be scanning his natural to see what's coming out of the larvas. Actually, also like with move out like that, it's very good to send those. Yeah, you send firebats to look for the bases. That's pretty good. But this firebat should go here, right? Because first we check the corners. Because if the Zerg didn't take base in the corner, we are very happy, regardless of where it is. It means that his fourth base will be that much harder to take if the base is not in actual natural or main. So then we don't even have to try that hard to kill this third base. It will be usually on some kind of high ground, right? Like here or here. But the whole point is that fourth base will be really, really hard for Zerg to protect, which means it's good for us. Okay, now we scanned his base, but we still don't know what's up in his main or anything. I assume we are just going vessels. Okay, we started our upgrades. This is like a mistake, which is pretty annoying, right? Because if you just put this barrack 1 square up, we could fit in another one. Could we? Actually, no, this should be 2 squares up. But it's still better. Now we cannot fit anything here, so our macro will be just harder to do without the barrack here. There is no reason not to do it more comfortable for ourselves. Okay, another thing. This might work, but in general the rule is you never go on Sunkens when you have less medics than he has Sunkens, because then every other shot of Sunken is guaranteed to kill a marine, right? Because your marines cannot be healed. Like every Sunken picks 1 marine, and then every medic, let's say, heals 1 marine as well that is being attacked by the Sunken, but 1 marine cannot be healed at this point because we have not enough medics. In case when you steam everything, it's it doesn't matter that much anyway, but if you had like 5 medics right here, this is easily bustable. Then it's dead base. But with 2 medics, this is probably gonna fail. Yeah, because there will be also always some support from units. Yeah, with 5 medics we break that. And right now the game is very hard already. If you fail sunken bust at any point in the game like that, in TVZ, it will be very, very hard to come back from this game. Because look at the situation in like mineral wise. In supply, the Zerg might even be losing, but it doesn't matter because look how much resources he can accumulate. So he survived while having like 4.5k resources on his account, which is terrible because he defended without spending all this money, and now he will be able to make crazy amount of units for this in near future, namely ultras. So it will be very hard. So it's already pretty much like strategically lost game because of this maneuver. But of course, if you had like good foundation in your macro, then we could still probably win. But that's not guaranteed anymore. I mean, it's never guaranteed, but after bust like that, it will be much harder. Yeah, again, we are lacking medics. You even said that on your own in your analysis post game that it will be an issue with the medic count. Yeah, and again, it's even worse now, right? Because we have 4 Sankis and only 2 medics, so it's even worse. So this is completely like this cannot work. It's impossible. Yeah, so the situation right now is even worse than before. Also lost vessels. So pretty much the analysis could end at this point because there is no way we are winning this after that. Well, I mean, we'll continue, but if you were doing like your own analysis, this is exactly the place where you stop because there is no point to analyze this after that. We just lost too much. Okay, now we realize this is Guardians, Crazy Zerg, but we lost vessels. I mean, we still have 4. I'm mentioning vessels because we saw the Greater Spy, right? So our answer to Guardians are vessels. Physics labs is fine if you cannot spend your money, but in general, BCs are good if you have like 3 or 4 bases established. So I don't know if in this game they would be particularly useful, but they are pretty easy to use, so maybe it's actually not that bad of an idea. Just remember to have some vessels already when you make them, which is I guess fine in this game. You have 8, so it's okay to get them. Like your minerals are rapidly getting up right now because you are in like crisis management and you just forgot to make units. So yeah, maybe this is okay money sink in this game. It would be fine. There is one point where you should always check whether there went armor upgrade or not, and if they did, before making BCs, or always make armor as well and make +1 attack, because otherwise if they have +1 armor, you cannot one-shot Scourges, so then they lose all their power pretty much. Yeah, so now Zer kind of got into this mode where he uses all his resources he banked for very powerful and easy to use units, and it will be just hard to win from there. But I guess we still are kind of doing well. This should be busted right now. Yeah, this eraser is pretty good. Let's just go. Can we erase this as well? Yeah, so Zerg is about to have like pretty big power spike, but he didn't wait. I guess he couldn't wait. Yeah, so we are getting harassed to death with those Guardians. I think it's actually winnable from there. Because like you have a lot of vessels and resources still to keep going. We should try to aggressively scan for his units and irradiate them. Of course, yeah, we kind of slept with macro, so that's a problem, right? Because if we had like 2 groups of units there to stabilize a little bit, then it's fine. Probably. After this eraser. Although I don't know how many drones can keep produce, how quickly. Like, yeah, probably it would be still pretty hard, right? Because he can just keep making those. And it's not like he's starving. Yeah, so maybe not after all. But who knows? If you just macroed better, then you never know. Because the thing is, in late game TVZ, with high vessel count, everything is possible, pretty much. Yeah. So there is not much to talk about anymore. Okay, so remember this. To get better at your level, you have to just get better at the very fundamental stuff. It's not about strategy. Don't try to analyze your games under the strategy validation. So you don't necessarily need to be doing good optimizations, good decisions, or even like answers to what your opponent is doing. All you have to focus on to get better is things like making SCVs, building your buildings in the right positions, checking up your upgrades, get into habits of like when you are moving out with marines, scout for expansions. There's like very overall general good habits slash rules. We need to have foundation to build on. So it's it's hard to tell you exactly what went wrong strategically in this game while we are, for example, not making SCVs for like almost 2 minutes or something. That's the problem in analyzing game like that. Also, as I mentioned, we go into Zerg's main, there is some weird things going on. We don't really know what is he doing. It looks like Lingolin, but then never is Lingolin. His 2H Muta is attacking us at 8 minutes. So the game is completely unreliable strategy-wise. Nothing makes sense. We need to play like just solid StarCraft because this game is all about mechanics. The lower the level, the game is more. You can get more advantage out of just being good mechanically. Okay, that's it for today. If you are interested in analysis like that, check out my Discord, submit your replay, and I might also make a video on it. And that's it. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.